This is WTF Nation Radio.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
The horse, with beauty unsurpassed, strength immeasurable, and grace unlike any other, still remains humble enough to carry a man upon its back. When a service member or first responder takes an oath, he or she has mentally and physically committed themselves with self-sacrifice. From the front lines abroad to the very streets you live on in America, they protect. This oath is non-refundable and it is lifelong. Facing unimaginable dangers and unseen scars, these grounds are a place to recover and face any challenges head-on. As veterans and first responders ourselves, we know that battle all too well. From a simple talk with a friend on horseback to an entire debrief in the barn, this sanctuary has seen recovery take place time and time again. No hour of life is wasted that is spent in a saddle. The way we approach change isn't a new phenomenon. This animal has been with humans over 5,000 years. If you've ever been around a horse for long enough, you'll feel that thing, that electric trust. In that moment, nothing else is in your mind. When they turn into you, it's like the world disappears. We harness that moment to build skills off of. Repurposing requires flexibility, adaptability, and the willingness to challenge assumptions and conventional thinking. This approach can be applied to many areas in life, including business, education, and personal growth. To ride a horse is to fly without wings. This lesson and skills learned at War Horses will help reintegrate back into daily life. You'll learn coping mechanisms, improved communication skills, trust and confidence that will help reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. These tools can be used every day to navigate life and take on many challenges. This may involve practicing mindfulness, setting boundaries, improving communication with loved ones. Transitioning back to society is hard on your own. And when you're at War Horses, you're family, and families solve problems together.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
I can feel this in my ears. What is happening?
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
All right, Branko says I have to unmute myself before I do the show. I think I'll do that. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Today is the Friday Night Freedom here tonight on Friday. Today's what is the 9th day of June, 2023. And if you're 8 years old, you've been laughing at it's 6-9 today. What's going on, everybody? KOZ here, your humble servant, along with Pooky here.
Oh yeah,
with this PT shirt on.
Yeah.
ready for the battalion run.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's going on, man?
Just chilling.
Another Friday. What's up, David? Everybody here? Luz Ramirez Rueda. Branko's here. Oh, stop by in the chat and say hi, man. Glad to see everybody here. It's been a long week, man. We just finally got broken into the mid to upper 90s. We're supposed to hit 100 degrees next week. The feel like temperature tomorrow is supposed to be 100. So this is definitely awesome. This is what summer is. Hell yes. My AC's been on. Since like 3 o'clock this afternoon, it's been on and it hasn't shut off yet because it's pretty toasty outside. But I guess that's what summer means, is just sitting inside and soaking up the AC when you can. So we got Back the Heroes Rumble is doing their golf outing happened today. I think it's over. I think it's all wrapped up right now, but they got all that stuff done today, so that was pretty cool. It was the annual Fallen Heroes Golf Classic. It was at the Elks Run Golf Course. I think that's I want to say Cincinnati. If it's not in Cincinnati, it's near Cincinnati. So Back the Heroes Rumble. I'm going to cycle some pictures through here. Back the Heroes Rumble is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation in support of law enforcement, first responders, firefighters, and military servicemen and women, and the veteran community. We've had Carl on a number of times, and he's a great guest. He has a great organization. He puts help and things and stuff into the hands of our first responders as it's needed. He does a really good job at supporting local firefighters and police departments and stuff like that. Their service area covers the entire states of Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. So he's been both he and his wife have been some busy individuals as of late. They had a really cool auction, and as you'll see, some of the items, a lot of sports memorabilia. If you had been to the site and saw some of the things that were being auctioned off, man, there were like trips, like big trips, like multiple thousands of dollar trips and stuff. It's really cool, and all the proceeds are going to help the organization support local first responders and veterans and stuff. So we actually sponsored one of the holes, at least either one hole or three holes or something like that. U.S. Army WTF moments.
Two holes.
Two holes. We did 2 holes. So that's cool. That's just really cool. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad it was a success. They have a couple of big events during the year. The one of which is the golf tournament, and the other one is the car show that they have. And it's nothing but awesomeness, right, all the way around. So congratulations, Carl, on a successful golf tournament today. They had putting contests and longest drive. They had all kinds of cool stuff, man. There was a lot involved for everybody involved. So a couple of weeks ago, where did I do this? Where's my, okay. So a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the Kit Kat churro. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So I went to the grocery store and I found Kit Kat churro. So that's it. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, I live in Texas and I've had churros. If you haven't had a churro, it is absolutely wonderful. Think of funnel cake, but not with the whipped cream and chocolate. It's like a fried pastry. And they put like sugar and cinnamon on it, and it's absolutely it's lovely. It's like heaven on your plate. It's very, very delicious. They're really good. And I'm not talking about those stupid churro things you get from Taco Bell. It's the same thing, but it's not. It's not a mass-produced thing. They're just delicious all by themselves. And if you've had them, you know it. If you haven't had them, I highly suggest them. And I'm going to try it, and it doesn't smell like a churro. It doesn't taste a damn thing like a churro. I'd give it a solid 4 out of 10. All right, that's going in the garbage. Oof. They don't suck. Man. No, they don't suck, but that's not a churro. It's they can call it something else and sell it as that, but I wouldn't call that a churro at all. So nah, I don't think that's a churro. Whenever I bite into that, I don't think churro, and I don't taste the cinnamon until later, which is weird. No, I'd rather have a churro. So what is this? What's this talk about? The PGA merging with the LIV. Is LIV merging with PGA, or is that the other way around?
I believe it's the other way around. There's a lot of money being thrown around.
Oh yeah, and LIV's got money. They've got the money. PGA's got money, but LIV is Saudi money. I don't know the details of it. I think that there was something like President Trump called it. He said that this is what's going to happen, and whatever he said, it actually happened. He predicted it, and it actually came true. But I can't really comment on it because I don't know. One thing I can comment on is the after many months of talk and bullshitting, I guess, that indictment for President Trump finally came down. Donald Trump has finally been indicted on a 49-page indictment was unsealed today. It was mentioned, he tweeted it out yesterday, but it was released today. It was unsealed, laying out 37 counts against Trump. He was hit with 31 counts for the willful retention of national defense information. 1 count of conspiracy to obstruct justice, 1 count of withholding a document or record, 1 count of corruptly concealing a document or record, 1 count of concealing a document in a federal investigation, 1 count for a scheme to conceal, and 1 count related to alleged false statements. So it's basically several charges for one thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of,
that's how they normally do it.
Yeah, they throw all this shit to the wall and they see what sticks.
Yeah.
So all of these charges are against Citizen Trump, not President Trump. All of these offenses occurred after he had left the White House. I don't know when he acquired these documents. Obviously he acquired them as he was leaving or during his tenure. I'm not sure. I don't even know what documents he's got. As far as classified documents, I think any document that's generated within the government is considered classified.
For official use only.
Yeah. They kind of, they classify everything and then we'll sort it out later if it doesn't need to be.
Oh, I hate that crap, man.
You're right. So right now it's up to the lawyers and the Department of Justice. To me, it seems pretty cut and dry. Did he possess classified documents? If the answer is yes, he is guilty. I mean, there's no, and this is just me, KOZ, talking. There's no reason for him to have any of that. He's no longer doing the business of the American people, so he doesn't have any business having any of that crap.
I'm kind of torn on the whole thing because it's convenient that all this is hitting just around election time, and they don't want to do debates. The DNC refuses to do debates. And it's like I don't understand. It's nothing. None of this is making sense. Then you're attacking your political opponent. That's just like that's shit Russia does.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part about it. I mean, let's find every little bit of dirt we can and persecute. You guys are going to wind up screwing around and finding out, man.
So I personally think that this is an effort to prevent Trump from running in 2024. After the 2024 elections, this will all fade into the sunset. The Republican Party, in my opinion, is in trouble because Trump is damaged, and DeSantis isn't a very strong national candidate. He's strong in Florida. He's doing a good job with Florida, but as on a national stage, he doesn't have it there yet. Everyone else that's in the party that's running is virtually unknown. I certainly hope I hope the party gets their act together before the election is coming up, because I don't think the nation can afford another 4 years of President Biden, of whatever this thing is that President Biden is doing.
I will say this administration.
The administration. I don't think it's him. I don't think he's running shit.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
But who said it? Political witch hunt. Huh? Dave Jenkins said it. That's what I see at. I don't like Trump. I don't like him. Never said I did. But anything at this point is better than the turnip that we got running this country.
Yeah. I mean, have someone in there who's actually doing the work.
But
there was something in our news chat that was passed down. So in this indictment, there's a co-conspirator who was named, and I'm thinking, oh, this guy's got to be like the guy in the black trench coat, and he just knows all these secrets. But no, it's this fella right here, this young man, Navy veteran. His name is Walter Nauta. He's the second person charged, along with former President Donald Trump, in the federal indictment unsealed today. He's a U.S. Navy veteran who served as a valet for Trump in the White House and in a similar capacity at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. Nauta is alleged to have made false statements and representations during the May 2022 interview with the FBI, according to the 38th count in the indictment. Prosecutors allege that Nauta lied about his knowledge of how boxes containing classified information ended up at various locations at Mar-a-Lago, and that Trump had directed him to move the boxes. He's named as a co-conspirator in the investigation led by Special Counsel Jack Smith. So Trump got on his Truth Social to blast the government for charging Nauta. He says he's a member of the United States Navy who served proudly with me and in the White House, and then transitioned into private life as a personal aide. He's done a fantastic job, the former president said. They're trying to destroy his lives, like the lives of so many others, hoping he will say bad things about Trump. He's strong and brave and a great patriot. So Nauta, who is a native of Guam, joined the Navy in July of 2001 as a culinary specialist. His file shows that he worked for a strike fighter squadron in California, a submarine base in Georgia, and on an aircraft carrier and frigate. He was a member of the White House Presidential Food Service team. During his 20 years of service, this guy looks like he's 20 years old. During his 20 years of service, Nauta received 5 Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medals. He also carried several service medals on his record, and it reflects 3 overseas deployments. He served as a personal valet in the White House while Trump was in office. According to the Washington Post, his tasks included delivering Diet Cokes to the Resolute desk, tidying up the Oval Office, and fetching the president's coat when needed. After Trump left the White House, Nauta became his executive assistant in Trump's professional office and worked in his personal aide and body man, according to the indictment. Biographical data obtained shows that Nauta retired from the United States Navy in September of 21, 1 year after going to work for Trump as a senior culinary specialist. He reported to Trump, he worked closely with Trump, and he traveled with Trump. And that's mentioned in the indictment. So, yeah, David Cunningham says, the pool guy? So obviously, since he was Trump's personal aide, he knows everything. I mean, if I'm working for someone and they say, hey, pick up that box and put it in the trunk, I'm going to pick up that box and I'm going to put it in the trunk the best way that I know how. I don't know what's in
questions.
It. Yeah.
Yes,
you
don't ask questions. Yes, sir.
I'm sure he wasn't making $5 an hour either. I'll do whatever you want.
That's one of those things where it's like, I know this man served, but you said 20 years in the Navy, but they're hoping that if they dangle enough crap over top of him, he'll just start like singing like a songbird, saying whatever they want to at that point, huh? Just so they can drop the charges,
You know they're threatening his retirement.
Oh yeah, they're threatening this man's whole livelihood over this crap.
Possibly his immediate family, maybe his extended family.
Oh, probably.
I don't know, man. I think it's just a big smear thing. I mean, and I'm not talking about with President Trump. I mean, if Trump did it, he did it. Either he. I mean, they have classified documents that they took out of his residence. It's kind of cut and dry. I don't know the reason behind him having it. I don't even know what the information is.
Man, it's just like, to me, it's just like this weird 2-tiered system is what it is. It's because, our current sitting president got caught up right after the Mar-a-Lago thing, and that kind of got brushed under. I was hearing something about some sort of like $5 million bribe or something like that. I don't know if that's true or not. I need to look into that to the current sitting president.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering because they're threatening like bunches of years in jail for President Trump. And I'm like, well, what about President Biden? He had classified documents in his garage next to his Corvette, Camaro?
Yeah.
Corvette?
Bathroom.
His bathroom. It was like shitter reading material.
That's what I was wondering myself, was like, why are always like Hillary Clinton got caught up with a whole bunch of classified shit she wasn't even supposed to have.
Oh yeah, she had a whole server. She had a whole server full of stuff. Her own personal server.
It's like, yeah, dude, I don't understand. I can't wrap my brains around it anymore.
It's illegal for this one person, but not for others. I don't get it. President Bush is probably sitting around going, however Ice does it. I can't do a President Bush impersonation without sounding like Beavis or Butthead or whatever. Like, do we have anything in the? Check the garage. I don't know what we got.
He's been using classified documents as his canvases for his paintings that he's got up in his.
Oh, you need to check the if you ever buy one of President Trump's paintings, check the other side. It might be
Bush's paintings.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I meant.
That's the secret. The reason why this weird art's worth so much money is because underneath there's actually classified documents.
That might explain what's Hunter Biden's art, if you want to call it art.
Oh dear Lord, I've seen kindergartens with finger paint do better, but I'm just.
Dude, kindergartners can probably sketch better than I can. Sketch and paint and do whatever they can do. Stick figures. I'm about limited to stick figures. So David Cunningham says we need to have term limits for all politicians to include Supreme Court justices.
Oh God.
Politicians, yes.
There needs to be an age to a cutoff age. If there's a minimum age for you to be president,
there should be a maximum.
Then there is a maximum age. Like you're all right. You're past that. You can't run no more.
I mean,
Senate, Congress, definitely, 100% at this point. Huh? Like, yeah, what's her name? Feinstein or whatever her name is came back from like what she had, like scurvy or scabies or I can't remember what it was. And I might be wrong. Shingles. That's what
shingles.
It was. Yeah, shingles.
I'm like, she's a pirate.
I don't think, but she came back and like they're pushing her around a wheelchair. I think it was like an LA Times reporter was asking her questions. She's like, "What are you talking about coming back? I've been here the whole time." Like, lady, you've been out for like 6 months dealing with.
Oh, she also flipped out when Kamala Harris launched like the tie-breaking vote or something. Why is she doing that? She doesn't. She's not all there. But yes, I definitely think age limits definitely. Term limits, yeah. I mean, 2 is good for president. Why can't? I don't know if you're. That'd be 8 years. So as far as Congress, 4 terms for a congressman.
I'm down with 8. If they're going to limit the president to 8, they might as well limit.
Congress is every 2 years.
Yeah, but it's offshoot. They do their 4, but it's offshot. They do an election every 4 years.
Yes, yeah.
Or 2 years.
2 years.
But it's not the whole Congress, Senate.
Oh, correct, correct. It's based on whatever.
But I'm saying 8 years for if the president can only do 8 because they're afraid of the amount of damage one man can do, then it should be 8 for all the assholes that are actually in charge of shit.
The ones that actually make the laws and enforce the laws.
Yeah, but that's never going to pass. That would require like an amendment to the Constitution, and that would require
and everybody would have to vote on limiting their job.
Yeah, that's never happened in the history of mankind. Is no one's ever voted themselves out of a job.
No,
position,
Yeah, that's not going to work. How could we get that to work? I mean, there's no way to do that.
That'd be what do they call it? Is it convenience of states or Congress of states? So you get this, the states can actually get together and be like, "Hey, screw you, Congress. We're making a amendment," and it bypasses the whole system at that point. Huh?
I think we ought to
There's
do
that checks and balances. Yeah, this problem is you got California and New York and Pennsylvania and all these other idiot states. Well, sorry for anyone living there, but yeah. California just really pisses me off.
Yeah, the thing is, it's a beautiful state, and there's a lot of nice people there. But dude, it's just the population centers in California just kind of ruin it for everybody. They ruin it for their own state, and then those people go to other states and they vote the same damn way, and they expect something different. I'm not saying everybody, but it's sure looking like it. I think Texas will be a blue state in my lifetime. I think it's closer than people are willing to admit or talk about. That'd be a big one. That'd be a big win for the Democrats if they could flip Texas to a blue state.
That's going to happen.
It'll definitely happen.
It's the same concept as I mean, I don't really like just like red blue kind of politics. It really irritates me. I'm kind, you know, me. I'm like, you know, like taxation's theft and like get the hell off my property, hippity hoppity, get off my property. I'm that kind of guy. But it's like it's a weird cult thing, you know. Like okay, like, but it happened with California. California was like really kind of borderline, like, you know, they were progressive, but they weren't super crazy progressive. It was like right in the middle, kind of like the happy spot.
I mean, Ronald Reagan was governor of California.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it just went like straight balls to the wall insanity. Like, and like you look at San Francisco, LA, all these big cities that like pretty much control the entire state. They got the entire state under their thumb. Like the same with Pennsylvania, Philly, Pittsburgh, New York. New York is all New York City controlling pretty much the entire state of New York. It's nuts to me at that point.
It must be pretty bad for people that live in a state who are not of that ilk, who are like extremely conservative, but they live in California.
Well, it's like Pennsylvania. I know, like you look at Pennsylvania and you look at the map, the red-blue map. You've got, you know, some in the middle, like hard line kind of like, you know, I'm in the middle. I'll vote for whoever's the best option at that point. But usually it's like the entire state is red, and then you've got like the areas around Philly and Pittsburgh blue.
Yeah.
And it's like one small little section, you know, voting for the, you know, rest of the people. Same with California's the same way. New York's definitely that way. But
which is, I don't know.
Oh, the pay raises, their pay raises, they get to vote for their own pay raises, Congress.
But there's actually been congressmen that have been up there. There's that vote against for their pay raise.
That's they know everyone's gonna vote for the pay raise, so they're just like, hey, look at me, I'm trying to stop the pay raise.
Yeah, right.
It's clout. It's clout.
It's gonna pass. They're cashing their freaking paycheck, so they're not that against it.
Yeah. No, but yeah, the pay raises should be held on a vote for the people. Like, hey, should we increase or reduce your pay? You know, that'd be awesome every election cycle. Hey, we don't really think you should be getting paid so much, so we're just gonna vote against your pay.
Or it's like, you know, it's like when when you file your taxes, there ought to be a checkbox in there. Does Congress deserve a pay raise? Yes or no? Right, and have it like right next to do you want to donate $5 to the presidential reelection fund? No, I've never said, oh, sure, take $5.
No.
It used to be like $2. Now I think it's 5. Is it 5 now or 8?
No, it should be on a tax because taxation's theft, and it shouldn't be. Just put it on a voting ballot. It's too easy at that point. Oh God, I'm blowing up here. What's going on here?
Uh-oh.
I'm not paying attention to messages.
Nah, it's just about we're not live on the radio page, so there's just more info coming.
Oh, okay.
The boss man says it's pushing. It's just not. It hasn't. It's not on. And I pushed all the right buttons. I did all the right things. So how about that dam in Ukraine? That damn Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm kind of got mixed feelings on that, but
see, no one knows. There is somebody who knows what happens. There's two people that know what happened. Either Zelensky knows what happened or Putin knows what happened. Everyone else is just guessing.
I don't know. Isn't there like a news article there a while? They were talking about like Ukrainian special forces were like test firing on that dam with like shoulder fired rockets or some shit hitting the floodway gates.
I don't even
a while
know.
back.
I don't even know.
Because to me, it doesn't make any sense that Russia would blow it up. But then again, Russia does dumb shit all the time. So I don't know I have no idea what's going on anymore. I can't believe anything that's coming out of this shit, dude.
So about 3,000 people have been evacuated from the flooded area on both sides of the Russian and Ukrainian-controlled sides of this river that forms part of the front line in this 15-month war. Ukrainian's prime minister today urged the United Nations and the International Red Cross and other world bodies to act immediately to help flooded residents of southern Ukraine in areas controlled by the Russian occupying forces. So it's a contested area. It's Ukraine, but it's controlled by Russia. On one side of the river, on the other side of the river is Ukraine, controlled Ukrainian space. They say the Russian, quote, the Russian occupiers aren't even making an effort to help these people. They have left them all to die. What's crazy is that Russia is blaming Ukraine, and Ukraine is blaming the Russians for the dam's destruction. So the dam, operational since the mid-50s under the Soviet Union, the dam and its associated hydroelectric power stations are about 44 miles from Kherson and supply electricity, irrigation, and drinking water to a wide swath of southern Ukraine and its residents. It's now a humanitarian crisis that's expected to get worse. According to the official emergency response, the emergency response is expected to last about 10 days. I think that the initial response is going to last about 10 days, but there's going to be a whole lot more going on. The flooding has killed about 300 or so zoo animals. Additionally, according to Al Jazeera, the flooding has dislodged hundreds, maybe thousands of landmines that were buried. Not to mention defensive fighting positions all down the river. And there is upstream, there is a nuke plant that requires this water for cooling.
I got like a very logical kind of, now that I'm thinking about this, and my brain, my little gears started clicking. It's like, it's a Russian dam, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all they would have had to do is, instead of blowing their own dam up, just open the floodgates and flood the shit out of it.
Rather than destroy the dam.
Just
open the gates.
Destroy their own infrastructure. So that doesn't make any sense to me. I'm so confused. Like, oh, I'm gonna blow my own dam up. That makes no sense.
I remember it was months ago, or maybe even last year. Someone had said that the dam was mined to explode. Someone had wired it to explode. I can't remember if it was Ukraine making that statement or Russia making that statement.
Oh.
I can't imagine Ukraine mining that dam to explode.
Who knows?
And I don't know what to believe that's coming out. And any statement that's coming out of that region, I don't know who to believe.
Well, I mean, okay, Russia does also have a nuke plant up on the side there that's in danger of melting down. So that doesn't make any sense to me either. It's like, why would Russia blow it up knowing that it would make, unless they're trying to make it look like, oh, look at Ukraine, they're the evil ones and they caused the nuclear disaster and this and that. And none of it makes sense.
Oh, and no one, and it didn't make sense for anybody to blow up that gas pipeline.
Well,
but it happened.
I need my tinfoil hat for that one, and I don't even want to get into that because I'll piss some people off with my beliefs on that.
I mean, I've heard stuff from him. Ukraine did it to garner like more international support. You know, they did it, but they blame Russia for it. That this whole thing fucking stinks. So you got any wildfire smoke down in your area?
Yeah, I got pretty bad the other night. What was it? Was it Wednesday? Yeah, I think it was Wednesday night. I think you couldn't even see the sky.
I think Wednesday and Thursday were the bad days. Were the really bad days.
Yeah, Thursday. Well, yesterday I stepped outside and I was like, "Oof!" Like, what's it? It's like, who the heck's burning? It smelled like a whole a forest fire, pretty much. What a forest fire would smell like. And I'm stepping outside. I'm like, ugh, yeah. Like, it doesn't bother me, but it's just constant. My grandfather noticed, and he was like, "Oh, I can't even stand this. This is too much." It's like standing in the smoke of a campfire at that point. I was like, nah.
And everyone smells like a damn campfire for a fucking week. Your house is going to smell. Your furniture.
See, I got air purifiers all through the house, so it's not a big thing. I'm paranoid about that. Like, I make sure my air quality in the house stays at around 20 to like 15.
I don't know what that means, but is that low?
That's pretty low, yeah.
So over the past 6 weeks, massive wildfires have spread across Canada, causing mass evacuations and burning through more than 8.1 million acres of land. And that data was from Wednesday night. It's larger than the state of Maryland. There are about 413 active wildfires across Canada. 249 of them are considered out of control. With this new weather pattern in place, the smoke from these fires is making its way into the United States. Pictures of New York City resemble what New York City would look like if it was on Mars, which is absolutely true. These pictures that are coming out are just insane. I mean, you look at the Brooklyn Bridge. Statue of Liberty, Yankee Stadium. New York isn't the only state affected. These big fires are affecting Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, northern Arkansas, and it's all the way eastward to the coast. There are multiple air quality warnings advising people to stay indoors and to limit outdoor activity. I wonder what the military installations are doing about this. Fort Bragg, I'm sorry,
PT.
Liberty, Fort
PT,
Drum,
PT,
are they still doing
PT?
PT?
PT. Suck it up.
United States Military Academy, is everybody still running PT?
I mean, they don't worry about burn pits. I don't think they care about forest fires. So, I mean...
The Canadian fires are also smoking out Washington State, Idaho, Wyoming, and North and South Dakota, too. And Montana. My daughter sent me pictures the other day, and I'm like, is it foggy? She goes, no, it's smoke. So it's no surprise to me that the brain donor from New York City, AOC, is capitalizing on the Canadian wildfires to push her Green New Deal further down America's throats. She says we must, and this is a quote, we must adapt our food systems, our energy grids, infrastructure, healthcare, etc., as soon as possible to prepare for what is to come and to catch up to what is already here. Okay, I'm not clear why any of those things that she mentioned had anything to do with the smoke coming down from our neighbors to the north. I'm surprised she didn't suggest building a big fan to blow it back up north. I don't know.
That's the grift. Back to the climate grift again. You know, this Greta Thunberg was on there complaining about it the other night, and I was like, how are you equating this? I mean, wildfire's been happening since before we were even existing.
Yeah, and this fire that started in Canada, this big one here, was started by lightning. I don't care how much money and taxes you pay toward the Green New Deal, it would not have prevented this at all.
It could, well, maybe, throw a little extra money at maybe, your Department of Forestry, so they could maintain the forest properly. Right. Get rid of all
that fuel
undergrowth.
in the undergrowth, yeah.
You spend 2-3 decades ignoring that because, we don't want to put extra carbon in the air, and then you get this shit, no? But
guess what? It's carbon. This is actually, and this is a good reason to wear a mask. If you're going to be outside, this is a good reason to wear a mask. You can actually see the shit that's going into your lungs.
I'd have been out there just raw dogging it.
You'd raw dog the air. I mean, when I was in Korea, the smog was pretty bad there, and in the wintertime, the houses burned ondol, which is just this big charcoal brick. It's a cylinder with holes in the middle of it, and that's how they heat their home. They put that in the heater, and they heat it. It's this big freaking sooty-ass mess, and cars are coated in it. You're breathing that shit, and you get that Korean hack. You get the Korean crud every winter and in every, through the spring, just because you're breathing in all of that stuff.
Branko, you missed out where we said maybe if you put your tax dollars where it needed to be instead of worrying about green shit. Nah?
Yeah.
We were talking about Canada. Old Trudeau up there, more worried about, whatever. I don't want to get in that.
So Holly says their ACI, I don't know what ACI, it's an acronym for something, air quality, maybe AQI. Air quality index was 136 on Wednesday, and now it's 80. So you're getting better.
It was 180 here. And I haven't checked it because I don't really care. I mean, it was just a campfire smell to me, so I was used to that. No,
yeah, if you can,
grew up around that all the time.
When I was in high school, I had a job in construction. It was one of my first jobs, and I remember the guy that I was working for. I don't remember his name, but I remember what he told me. He goes, "If you can see the air that you're breathing, you need to be wearing a mask." I said, "Roger that." So I wore a mask like all the time if I'm cutting wood or sanding fucking drywall or something like that. I was, if you can see, I always remember that if you can see the air that you're breathing, you need to wear a mask. Oh, dude, yeah, the fires in in Iraq during OIF. We had this, I was in Kirkuk, and we had an oil well that it wasn't like nefariously caught on fire. It was on fire for a reason. But it was on the other side of our if you took off right out of our hangar and flew straight north, you would hit this oil, I don't know what the fuck, the pumping station or whatever the hell you call them. But I think I was there for a year. I think for probably 4 or 6 months out of that year, that damn thing was on fire. And it was actually, you didn't have to walk around with a flashlight. It was so bright you didn't have to use a flashlight to walk around at night. And when that flame went out finally, and they capped it, it was interesting because it got black dark at night. It was really weird. We noticed it when it was not burning. And you can smell it, you can taste it, you feel it on your skin. It was nasty, man. And you're breathing that shit. Is that all covered under the hazardous? What program is that the VA's pushing out?
That burn pit thing or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but
yeah, you know what's fucked up is I'm not covered on that because I was a civilian. I was a contractor overseas.
Oh, that's fucked up.
It is. That's
fucked up. Because I remember the burn pit just constantly just billowing black shit constantly, nonstop, like just.
Well, even during the initial Gulf War, when Saddam actually caught hundreds of fucking oil wells on fire, that shit was black.
That's what caused a lot of that. What they called the Gulf War syndrome or whatever it was. I think is what it.
Have they ever put a finger on that? What it is?
I don't know. Actually, I never really looked into it, but it might have been a combination of that and malaria pills. Because they found out that was eating holes in people's brains.
Ugh.
But
was that methaquin?
Quill or something like that. I'm not good with drug names at all.
Yeah, when I went over there, they just handed me 200 pills of 200 tablets worth of that shit, and they're like, take one a day. I took it for like 3 days, and I'm like, nope. No more. So somewhere out there in the dumpster is a whole bunch of fucking malaria tablets. I was amazed at how many mosquitoes we had up there for as dry as it was. I was up in northern Iraq, so we actually had grass and shit. We actually saw seasons, and it was cold. You actually had to wear a jacket at some point.
Yeah, but I remember northern Iraq during wintertime, it got real cold up there. You had to actually wear gloves and shit.
Then you get into April and May, and it's 125 before lunch.
Yeah.
Fun times. You know what else is a fun time? Is when you go to Sonic for a big Route 44 Coke with cherry in it, and you get some cocaine.
Oh, some booger candy.
Booger sugar.
Booger sugar. Those candy.
So this
sounds like a good time.
This dude here, an employee at a Sonic drive-in in New Mexico, was arrested after he lost his bag of cocaine that somehow ended up in a customer's hot dog. Jeffrey David Salazar, age 54, faces felony charges for possession of a controlled substance. Police said illegal narcotics were discovered in a customer's Coney purchase at Sonic. The substance was inadvertently placed in the food as Salazar was preparing the order. A field test confirmed that the substance discovered in the food was indeed cocaine. According to the incident report, a woman called police on Thursday after she bit into her food, only to discover that she had bit into a plastic bag. She did not believe any of the powdered substance went into her mouth. The affidavit for the arrest warrant says Salazar was observed on video surveillance conducting what appeared to be a hand-to-hand transaction with a female employee. Salazar then makes her food before apparently looking to search frantically for something that he had lost. Salazar admitted to police that he purchased the cocaine from someone in the restaurant parking lot. So,
see, there's a scary thing about this, a really scary thing about this,
what's
right?
that?
Had that been like fentanyl and like this dude accidentally contaminated this whole restaurant by accident.
Oh, dude.
The amount of people that could have overdosed from that shit.
Well, the woman that bit into that hot dog could have died, like now. That entire restaurant would have to get shut down and get cleaned. He'd be hauled off to jail, and he'd probably be released on his own recognizance or a promise to appear, because no one stays in jail for anything anymore.
Just glad it wasn't a kid, Holly. Yeah, exactly.
No kidding.
That. Leave that shit at your house, people. Dude, I don't care what you do. Just do it at your house. Don't do it out in public. Don't do it at work.
Don't bring other people into it. Like we have.
Yeah.
I mean, we got this dude. I'm assuming it's a guy, because I think women are too smart to do this. He drives around. I think his Facebook or YouTube name is the Adrenaline Dealer, and he drives around on these crotch rockets. He's got several of them, but it shows him. RPMs are all pegged out, almost at red line, like maybe 500 RPM below red line, doing 170, 180 miles an hour on the interstate in traffic.
Zipping in and out of traffic. That to me is crazy, because if you know anything about like motorcycles, once you get up to that speed, you could literally ride over a pencil and that pencil won't move. That's how much traction you've actually got on the ground at that point, no? That's just nuts.
And I get it, dude. I get it. It's probably a thrill to go that fast and shit. But this guy it's dangerous, and it's not just. It's almost like a selfish thing. He's doing it for his own enjoyment. But if he runs into anybody else, he's going to get launched. He may or may not die, but whoever he strikes doing 170 miles an hour is not going to have a good day. He doesn't care. He's like, haven't been caught yet. Like, dude, they're going to catch you because you've been wrapped around a tree or something.
Yeah, you're going to be dead, and you might possibly harm someone's child. They're out there zipping around, or someone out there changing their tire and you don't see it, and you hit them going, that's like a missile hitting you at that speed.
Yeah, I watched a police chase today. It was a minivan like Spanky drives. But they were hauling ass. I mean, I think the chase was more than 100 miles an hour. But this and it was in Maryland. It was Maryland, and it's in traffic, and this cop is chasing this guy, and there's a lot of traffic. I'm really surprised that they didn't call the chase off. But he's on the shoulder for most of the chase because of so much traffic. Here in Texas, dude, you know how they say don't mess with Texas, and there's they're really proud of the trash on the no trash on the highways. That's a big fucking lie. But you can't drive on the shoulder at all because there's bumpers and just trash and gravel. And
I was about to say road gators are the one thing you got to watch out for down in Texas.
Road gators, like those things?
No, road gator is a tire that explodes like a truck. A road gator, it's just a busted piece of tire sitting on the side. You go zipping down there on a motorcycle and don't see that shit, you're gone at that point, no?
And this cop is doing 80, 90, 100 miles an hour on the side of the road, passing all these other cars. I'm like, nah. When they finally caught up to the car, it had gone off the road and it had literally wrapped itself around a tree. On the hood, the bottom of the car, the undercarriage of the car was facing outward, and the hood of the car was wrapped around a tree.
That's how I'm big on the high speed chases. I can never wrap my brain around. Like that happened in Virginia when I was living there. Cop was chasing after a guy, and both of them launched themselves, like just chasing each other. And one of the cops, actually, sheriff deputy, killed himself chasing after this guy. It was like, you had his license plate number, It was some petty bull crap that he was, all right, cool, pull back, put a warrant out for him, catch him later, just.
I started thinking, I'm like, because everyone's like, oh, you can't outrun a radio. Okay, let's say you're sitting at 0 miles an hour on the side of the road. Someone passes you at 170 miles an hour. What did you see? You can't identify what just passed you. You can probably determine that was either a motorcycle or a vehicle, or like a four-wheel vehicle. That's it. What color was it? I have no idea. Even if you're driving an air asset, even if you had a helicopter in the air, most police helicopters are like a Bell 206 or a 407. They're not going to fly at 170 miles an hour. They're
like that.
120, 130 at best.
That happened in Houston a couple of years back. Guy got himself one of those Dodge Demons, and he just wanted to see how fast the cops started chasing. Cops couldn't keep up with him. Put a helicopter in the sky. The helicopter pilot was like, "He's outrunning us," and he burned past the helicopter. And then the guy turned himself in. And the judge is like, "What the heck were you thinking?" He was like, "It was there was hardly any traffic. I just wanted to see how fast I could peg it. I just did it for the shits and giggles." And I think he got stuck with like 30 days community service, 30 days imprisonment, community service afterwards or whatever, just some petty crap. It wasn't that bad, but I guess because he turned himself in. But I just wanted to see how fast my car could go.
I get it. I understand that. Yeah, there's been a lot of chases with Hellcats. There's a lot of just crazy traffic lately since the spicy flu. I've noticed that traffic has become a little more hectic down here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And maybe it's because there's more people. Fort Worth is it's a magnet for people that are leaving whatever state that they're coming from.
No,
so our population is just blowing up. But I was
from California.
But the thing is, I was driving to work the other day. I think this was Wednesday morning, and there was a car in front of me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to pass him. I'm past him, and I'm getting ready to get over into the right lane, and I look in my rearview mirror when I'm starting to check my six, and there was a car behind me, like on my bumper, that didn't have any lights on. Like he was driving, how sometimes you kind of rely on the automatic lights and they don't come on all the time or whatever. But this guy purposefully was blacked out. He didn't have any lights on or nothing. He passed me. He had a paper tag. And I'm like, this car is probably stolen, and he's just. But who does that at 4 o'clock in the morning? 4:30 in the morning.
Be chased lately or stolen by young kids on a joyride.
And he wasn't stopping. I mean, he wasn't driving on the shoulder or anything, but he was still, he was blacked out. No lights front or rear. It's nuts, man.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. The whole world's crazy. The world is a vampire. I don't know why I thought about that. Anyway, hey, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Little Kim, not the rapper, but and he's not so little. This is Kim Il Sung's son, Kim Jong Un. We're going to talk about him. He's not so little anymore. And we're going to be talking about a speeding fine. I should have done this in the first story, but this dude got a traffic fine, a speeding fine of $129,000. That's nuts. We'll talk a little bit about student loan repayment and revolt. And a little bit about eco-terrorism. And it's just going to be a cool conversation. Maybe we'll get to all these stories. Maybe we won't. But what we are going to do right now is we are going to take a break. And my name is KOZ, and that is Pookie. And we'll be back in just a couple minutes. So be sure to tune in. Shots.
I can feel this in my ears. What is happening?
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
closed off mind to the ones who granted you in. There's got to be another way. We will not embrace this play. It's my place to be a part of the hate and pain that I beg you to eliminate. All this destruction and hate, how do you think it came to this? We are not the ones to blame. We did not create this. You hold us responsible. You blindly believe the lies, ignoring the truth. You avert your eyes. There's got to be another way. We will not embrace this play. It's my place to be a part of the hate and pain that I beg you to eliminate. I am the repulsive reality you refuse to accept. I am the weapon until required is safely kept. I am the means to the end you refuse to secure. I am There's got to be another way. We will not embrace this play. It's my place to be a part of the hate and pain that I beg you to
Radio.
All right, everybody. We're back for part 2 of Friday Night Freedom. My name is KOZ. Up there is Pooky. We're going to take you on into the night. Or whatever the professional DJ, taking you all into the night with the smooth sounds of Tom Morello. Tom Morello from freaking... Fuck You, I Won't Do What They Tell Me. What the hell's that band called?
Rage Against
the Machine. He's the guitarist for Rage Against the Machine. I was thinking as we were on the break, the biggest offenders as far as traffic goes here are the motorcyclists. Everyone who's on a crotch rocket. If you got a street bike, you're going to be spending. The nice street bikes around here. They're the Harleys. They're the old men. And their ladies, and they've spent lots of, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, maybe more on this setup. They're not going to drive like assholes because this is their vehicle. The other ones, you spend a few grand on a crotch rocket, you soup it up, and you drive like an ass. These guys are, they hear that, in one state, it's, the Gold Wings. Those guys aren't speeding up in between traffic. You can't split lanes with a Gold Wing. You're going to be tearing at the best, you're going to be tearing some mirrors off of cars. But these crotch rockets, man, it's almost as though they read that, like, I think in California you can split lanes. So they're like, oh, it's legal. Yes. It's legal. So I looked it up. It's not legal in Texas. But in the states and where it is legal, you can split lanes, but there's so many restrictions on it. It's like traffic has to be moving at a very slow speed, like 15 miles an hour, and you can split lanes, and you can't do it on an interstate. Interstates it's verboten on an interstate at all to split lanes, and there's a lot of restrictions. But they're just like, meh. All they see is lane splitting is legal. But these guys, I'm not saying that they think that it's legal, because these guys are not splitting lanes. They're like driving on the shoulder, passing everybody. Everybody. I'm not jealous. I'm just concerned because when they're driving, if I'm going highway speed, 60, 70 miles an hour, or with whatever the speed of traffic is, and they're just blasting in between lanes or riding on the shoulder and stuff, and that's unsafe for everybody involved. You don't see them until they're gone. And if you're splitting lanes, it's not really on your radar. I mean, they say, the experts say that as a driver, you usually check the rearview mirror, and then you check your side view mirrors at least once every 10 seconds. You're checking one or both of the mirrors. You're not going to see someone, creeping up on you at 100 something miles an hour when you're doing 60. They're going to be here and gone. Anyway, and I feel bad for hoping that they crash and injure themselves. But I just don't want them to hurt anybody else. If they want to hurt themselves, it's fine. Or David, save it for the track. I work with a guy who races motorcycles professionally. He's got crotch rockets that are $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. And he races professionally on the track. His bike does not hit the interstate. He saves it for the track. And he races on the track. He doesn't do it on the interstate. That's nuts. It's a challenge. I know that there was a thing in Atlanta. There's a loop that goes around Atlanta. And it used to be a thing to see how fast you can make it around the loop. From one exit, go all the way around the loop to the same exit. Holly says, I live next door to a Harley Davidson, and they drive like shitbags out of that store. If you pay good money for a Harley, you're going to drive for like a shitbag maybe for a little bit. But then when you see how much it costs to repair it, you're not going to have that Harley Davidson anymore. It's not going to look nice.
We're up on all pages now. Hello, people.
Hell yeah. I'm glad that worked out. Welcome at WTF Nation Radio, Facebook. You know, of all the pages that we didn't launch on was the radio page, which is weird.
The one page that is
our page. So welcome back, and let's talk a little bit about Little Kim. Like I said earlier, not the rapper, but that guy right there. South Korean intelligence services believe that North Korea's leader could be suffering from insomnia and while abusing alcohol and tobacco. Now, what does that mean? He doesn't look like he dips, so maybe they mean smoking tobacco, smoking like cigarettes, cigars. South Korean lawmaker Yoo Sang-bum, who serves as the executive secretary for the...
Say that name again?
I knew someone was going to say something. Yoo Sang-bum.
You sang bum.
Yoo Sang-bum. He's the executive secretary for the Parliamentary Intelligence Committee, told reporters Wednesday that the country's intelligence service believes North Korean leader Kim Jong-un may be experiencing a serious sleep disorder, and he is engaging in excessive alcohol consumption and tobacco consumption. I don't know how they can tell that without having a man on the inside. You know what I mean? The lawmaker said that the National Intelligence Service found that North Korean authorities were hoarding insomnia medications such as zolpidem and significant amounts of alcohol and cigarettes. And I know that the large amounts of alcohol is not for the citizens, because I think that's forbidden.
I think
I don't think
alcohol is frowned upon, but they're allowed to smoke weed.
Okay, well, maybe North Korea is not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have something when you're starving to death.
Yeah, I think in one of the previous stories that we've done, certain drugs, you can go and get a lot of drugs. Well, even in South Korea, you can go and get opium from a pharmacy, which is probably why the pharmacies are, or at least they were, off limits when I was there. You couldn't go into a soju tent. You couldn't go into a pharmacy.
Interesting.
So in addition to sleep issues and apparent substance abuse, the spy service also noticed that the local North Korean leader seems to be suffering from marks on his wrists and his arms, which they assess is from scratching skin blemishes and may be a result of a skin condition related to stress from an allergic reaction. The intelligence service also noticed that an artificial intelligence assisted analysis of the leader's weight puts him at about 308 pounds.
No way, that short little fuck.
I don't know where he puts it, man. He's short. I don't know how tall he is. I know he's not. He's Cartman.
Take a look at him standing next to old D. Treasy, because they shook hands, so you can do the math on that.
Donald Trump's a tall dude.
Mm-hmm. But you could probably be able to AI analyze how tall he is. He's probably maybe 5'2", 5'3".
Ooh, that's like half a person. But he's wider than most, so yeah, at 300 pounds though.
He likes some hamburgers, apparently, from what I understand.
I know that he's a connoisseur, not a connoisseur. He likes the Western food. He likes Western stuff.
Well, when you're the only person that has access to that kind of crap, I mean.
Yeah. Assessments of his health have long drawn scrutiny and international concern or interest, with any potential changes of leadership in this isolated country have implications for South Koreans and global security. News of possible health issues for the North Korean dictator have popped up before, including speculations that his health was suffering after he skipped a series of important events earlier this year. He didn't skip some events. He was like, no one had a picture of him for like 18 months. He wasn't out.
Yeah,
he was not out.
Did he have like a heart attack or some shit? I thought
I've heard heart attack. I heard he has, diabetes. He's just, he's not a healthy dude. It's not like he's out there jogging every day. He doesn't spend any time on the treadmill, I don't think.
No, he does smoke. I know he smokes cigarettes, because every time you see him, he's sitting there smoking. He's got a cigarette hanging out of his mouth or on his hand. Just he's a chain smoker, from what I understand. Whatever. See what happens.
The thing is, if he goes, who's going to take over? His crazy fucking sister?
You know how these things work. There was a power vacuum. Like it could be a general that's like, hey, fuck that, I'm taking control. Screw her sister. Blah blah blah. I mean, I know he's grooming his daughter. Apparently, that he had a daughter that I didn't even know he had a daughter. Just recent. That was a recent thing. I think,
yeah, she looks like 12. She's about 12. She's not old enough for taking control or nothing. Dennis Rodman needs to go visit his friend before he dies.
Yeah.
So aside from Kim's health, the South Korean spy agency assessed that living conditions for North Koreans have continued to decline. Incidences of violent crime have risen sharply, while deaths from hunger rose 3 times than they were at last year at this time.
I don't understand it.
I was looking for... I had read a story, and this had happened a couple of years ago, but there is remember how we were talking about there's like a social justice, not like what you're seeing here in the United States, but it's like a social justice. If a family member breaks the law for something, like they don't have a picture of the dear leader in their house or whatever, the entire family suffers.
It's like a credit, like a social credit.
Social credit, yeah. So there's a 2-year-old that has been jailed along with his parents and family because a Bible was found in their house.
100% believable.
That entire family went to a prison camp because there was a Bible found in the house.
They don't play with that.
What are they afraid of, man? It's a power thing. It's definitely a power thing.
Well, I mean, it's like religion. Religion, faith. That's not, as long as they're having their faith in something other than their supreme overlord is what it is, and it's a power trip thing. It's just, people start worshiping the Lord, Jesus, old Jeebus. Well, they're not worshiping me no more. They start taking care of each other.
What did Jay Rady call him?
Sky Daddy.
Sky Daddy.
But no, that's a big thing. Like, I think even in China, that's frowned upon, like heavily frowned. Do you see that with the Uyghurs?
Oh yeah, and that's just a collection of Muslims. They're all in prison camps now.
They force feed them beer, and bacon.
Yeah.
I'm a Uyghur. I get to drink all the beer and eat all the bacon. Come on.
Sports Bar's chiming in. He says he likes Western culture so much that he brought America's #1 disease, diabetes, to North Korea. Everyone else is starving, and he's the fat boy.
Well,
you don't see. I mean, when you look at pictures of North Koreans, you don't see many overweight North Koreans except for this fat ass.
Even when he's like walking around some of his generals walking around look like they could use a hamburger. Like
some of them, yeah, they don't fit. It's like you got the child-sized military leader uniform, okay?
Like a skeleton under there. You can see that there's like no muscle at all. That's.
Some of them are kind of portly though. The military leader. I mean, because you get certain privileges and stuff. The higher rank you are, so. So I was talking about that speeding fine, that $130,000 speeding fine. Check this out. A man from Finland, which is right next to Russia. A wealthy Finnish man who was ticketed for driving 20 miles an hour over the speed limit has been issued a $129,544 fine for the infraction. And this is all. You call that this is taxation, so I'm going to put the taxation as theft thing up there. Anders Wickloff was caught doing 82 kilometers per hour, 51 miles, in a 50 kilometer hour zone. So he's doing 51 in a 31 zone in a place called Åland Islands. Speeding tickets fines in Finland are set in relation to the driver's income. It's based on their estimated disposable income. So Wickloff is the chairman of a holding company that has a net annual revenue of $375 million.
No, I can get down with that. That actually makes sense to me in a weird
Really?
way.
If you're rich, you get paid more.
Yeah, because well, no, I mean, like you find more because really
Find more. That's what I meant.
Yeah. A fine is just a law against poor people. If you think about it, don't park here. It's $150. If a poor person would be like, okay, but then a super rich person would be like, oh, fuck it,
$150.
I can afford $150. That's free parking. Whatever. I'll just park there, pay the ticket. Screw it. So if it's like that, everyone will start acting kind of cool.
So this isn't his first ticket. The 76-year-old has been cited for speeding before, and he was fined $68,176 for an incident in 2018. And in 2013, he was cited for an incident which cost him $102,000. Despite the huge amount, Wickloff paid his latest tickets, but it's far from a world record. A driver in Switzerland who has a similar system for calculating fines was clocked at doing 180 miles an hour on a public road, and he had to pay $1 million. So I looked up traffic laws, and I'm just doing this locally. So here in Texas, and generally throughout the United States, speeding fines are based on a tiered system, which ranges from a $165 fine if you're doing 5 miles an hour over the limit to $300 if you're doing 30 miles an hour over the limit.
To get caught in Virginia doing 15 miles over the limit, you wind up in jail for 30 days.
Damn. So Texas does not define at what speed reckless driving occurs. But if you're going 20 miles an hour or more over the speed limit, you can pretty much count on a reckless driving charge. And depending on the seriousness of the event and your attitude, your vehicle may or may not be impounded, and you may or may not be taken to jail. I guess if you're doing 5 miles an hour over the speed limit, but you're doing it very unsafely, I guess you can get a reckless driving charge. But yeah, it's basically $165 to $300 for speeding. And then whatever else. If they pull you over for speeding, there's probable cause for other checks and stuff. But a lot of interstates and stuff that is a revenue stream for the city.
Oh, that's 100%. There's a place in Virginia, back to Virginia again because fuck Virginia. But there's a place that's called the most expensive mile or some crap. It's on the 295 going from between Richmond and going towards North Carolina. I think you actually passed Fort Lee on that. Well, I don't think it's called Fort Lee anymore. It's called something else. But no, this whole town is I think 2,500 people living in it. But their police department was just pulling people over. Every 15 feet there was a speed trap, and they would just sit there and pull people over. Their police departments had the best radar detectors. They have a SWAT team equipment. It's for the small little. It was funding the whole town pretty much.
Damn,
it was nuts. I have to go look that up. Share that to you later.
It wasn't Florence, Texas. I think it was in the other direction. I think it was between Fort Hood and not Copper's Cove, Temple. There was a very, very small town where you go down this humongous hill. It's the space is a couple miles long, but it's this big decline and then an incline. And it probably covers a couple of miles, but it's under the jurisdiction of this town. I forget what the town's name was. They were actually on 60 Minutes for the worst speed trap in the state of Texas. They were giving everybody tickets. And then they were using it was on 190, Highway 190 and 35 or something like that. But they had this massively awesome track record for stopping drug traffic or, because you pull somebody over, you're going to search their car, and then they end up finding drugs and stuff. So they had this revenue from, impounding vehicles, and just, they were the shit. I don't think that, I think they were told to quit it.
It's borderline piracy at that point if you think about privateering at that point. I'm allowed to pull you over and take your shit. No? I've got a letter of marque from the government saying I'm allowed to do this shit. That's what they do. You know, it's just, where's it? South Carolina, right on the border of North Carolina, South Carolina, going down 95, right where that south of the border's at. You know where I'm talking about, right?
The gas station, yeah.
Well, that whole fucking tourist trap. But if you're going down there's this town. It's called Dillon, which is what is attached to the south of the border bullshit. They are the epitome. If you got out of state tags, they're gonna hit your ass for going like 3 miles over the speed limit. Huh? Like it's a sheriff's department. They just sit on the roads pulling people.
Just looking for you. They're looking for a foreign tag or not a state tag.
They want out of state tax because it's easier because they don't fight it and they just pay it. And, you know, like that kind of.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
If you're from North Carolina, you're gonna go all the way to South Carolina for a court date.
Yeah. What you gotta understand is that you're going down 95. Between you know, you hit that south of the border Dillon area. Dillon's a small little town. If you've ever driven through it, it's a very tiny little town. Like it's like 2 stoplights. That's about the gist of it. If you go through actual Dillon, but it's right on the line of 95 there, and between Florence, you know, Florence and North Carolina border or whatever. But the reason why they're so heavy on that is because Myrtle Beach. Everyone coming from the north down to Myrtle Beach has to go through that area, and they're tagging people from New York. You know, everyone. I don't know why anyone would go to Myrtle Beach for a freaking holiday. You know, it makes no sense to me. But besides that, but people do it, and that's what they do. They tag people 5 miles an hour speed limit. Oh, your light was busted. Your light, quote unquote, was busted out. Stupid crap like that. You know.
Yeah, shit, dude. It's just, I think it's a racket. What I would wish, and I've said this before. I've even told the sheriff's department here. I'm like, I never see. It's not like I'm looking for getting pulled over for speeding, but I don't ever see on Interstate 20 from where I live to where I work. I never see any traffic enforcement there. Sometimes there's a dummy car parked on the side of the road.
Do that a lot in Fairfax, Virginia.
Or I see a lot of stuff on the side roads, on the access roads, but I never see like an active speed. I've never seen a speed trap in probably 10 years. I'll bet you it's been 10 years since I've actually seen a speed trap on I-20 from Benbrook to Grand Prairie. And that's a good stretch. That's probably a 20-mile stretch.
Probably because it's dangerous.
There is a whole lot of traffic, and there's not a lot of room for. I mean, even if you've got your lights going on, that people don't move out of the way. Not even for ambulances. It's like fucking get in line. There's nowhere to go.
When I was still driving, I like if it was raining, I would fly by the speed trap. I don't care because if you're not doing like something excessive like 30 miles an hour of the speed limit, you're like 5, 10 over. They're not pull you over because they don't get out and get wet. No?
They're not going to get wet, and plus you can probably contest it in court saying it was raining, so that was probably making the radar gun inaccurate, which is bullshit now because everything's laser.
Yeah, well. But you know, cops just you know how they are. I mean, so they're just sitting there. I got to meet my quota, even though like most cops will say they don't have a quota. Oh, I don't have a quota. Oh, yeah. You're not supposed to say it, but I got a quota. Especially here where I live, seems like near the end of the month, all of a sudden everyone's getting pulled over.
We don't have quotas. We have requirements.
Why didn't you give out so many speeding tickets? Well, no one was speeding.
You can. I mean, they used to have buses that would drive between Grand Prairie to the other side of Tarrant County, and then they turn around and come back, and they would look for people. There would be police officers inside this bus with smoked out windows, just looking for people that were texting and driving or doing other bullshit things. They would get the license plate, and then they would issue citations with video. I think that was kind of squashed. But for a period of time, that was happening. I think that's ingenious. That's very genius.
That's just like the whole seatbelt thing. kind of always used to blow my mind. If I'm in my car by myself and I want to be a dumbass and not wear my seatbelt, it's my prerogative. But
ever since the seatbelt thing became a thing, during my lifetime, it hasn't always been a thing. Many kids growing up now, the seatbelt is the thing, and you really feel weird not wearing one. It's been a thing for so long in my life. I'm never not buckled up.
I mean, I do it because it's just common sense. It's a smart thing to do. You want to strain yourself. That makes sense. Now, if I was in an army, they wanted this, downrange. They wanted us a seatbelt, and I was like, "Fuck that shit." Huh?
You have to wear a seatbelt in a gator.
Yeah, like fuck
driving a gator around base. You got to wear a seatbelt. What? Really?
Nah. Yeah, this thing's gonna flip over. I'm gonna get pinned in it. Huh?
What was that? What was the thing that we saw in U.S. Army WTF moments? It was like they were riding a bike without wearing a helmet but without a chin strap. There was like
oh yeah, that's all.
The commander or whatever, the base commander was like, "Man, that's bad." Yeah, I always wear a seatbelt. I've been in enough accidents, one of which really fucked me up pretty bad. I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, but I was a backseat passenger. I'll always wear a seatbelt.
Used to ride, like I said, I used to ride dirt bikes, and you would never catch me dead on that thing without a helmet on. This is my thing. You see some rednecks riding around on the street like wee, like nothing.
Actually saying that too. Wee.
Until they like flip over and like bust their skull into pudding. You'd never catch me dead without a helmet on.
I see a lot of videos now of like kids trying like skateboard tricks and stuff, like relatively dangerous tricks on concrete, and just smacking their heads. I'm like, I mean, and these are kids. These are 12-year-old kids on skateboards smacking their heads on concrete. That's not a good thing.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah, but then you got to take care of a kid with fucking brain issues.
No, yeah, well. That's what the military's for.
Yeah, but you get in the military and then you have people who are your age yelling at you for, you got to do this, you have to do this, you have to, where's your PT belt, where's your iPro?
Wow, every private that I'm gonna
inspect your room that you sleep in for dust. You want to be treated, but I want to be treated like an adult.
And act like an adult.
But you still get treated like a fucking child.
Yeah.
So what about student loans, man? Do you have any student loans?
Thank God, no. I got a GI Bill if I wanted to use that. Why would I take out?
I had a GI Bill too, but it was good for $10,200.
Yeah, didn't you give it to your kids though?
No, I used it.
Oh, you used it, yeah.
I used it. I'm actually paying. I'm paying for my young. Well, for both my kids' education. My youngest daughter graduated. My oldest daughter, she graduated, but was getting nowhere with that degree, so she's going for another one. So she asked, "Dad, can I help? Can I help? Me help?" And I said, "Yeah." So yeah.
You're a good dad.
I'm a damn good dad.
That's awesome.
So some college graduates are suggesting that there should be a general boycott on repaying student loans once the current federal loan payment pause ends this summer. The debt ceiling deal agreed between Biden and Speaker Kevin McCarthy says that the pause, initially introduced as a temporary measure during the spicy flu season, will cease to be effective from 60 days after June 30th. So that's like by the end of August. On Thursday, the Senate backed a House resolution that would cancel Biden's student loan forgiveness plan, which would wipe out $10,000 from a debt of most borrowers and up to $20,000 for graduate students who received Pell Grants. The president has pledged to veto the bill, which he did. I think he actually did. That he describes as an unprecedented attempt to undercut our historic economic recovery. The Supreme Court is expected to rule on Biden's plan in late June or early July. A pause on student loan repayments was first introduced by Donald Trump administration in March of 2020 as a part of the CARES Act, which was designed to support graduates through the spicy flu. It had been extended 8 times, but any possibility of a 9th extension was ended by the debt ceiling agreement. Some graduates responded with anger. How dare we repay the money that we borrowed, right? Some graduates responded with anger after hearing that the pause would be ending, with a number of even suggesting that there should be a repayment boycott. One Twitter user from Detroit wrote, quote, we could all just refuse to pay our student loans, and if there was a mass collective action, they wouldn't be able to do shit, end quote. So here I am thinking, which is what I do.
Oh.
So here I'm thinking, defaulting on a loan will cause the account to be sent to collections. Once it is sent to collections, the offender's credit takes an immediate hit. Negative marks on your credit history affect your ability to buy a house or buy a car with a favorable interest rate. It can also affect your ability. It could also affect your ability to rent a home, rent an apartment, and it will definitely affect your ability to acquire or maintain a security clearance. For the most part, these folks probably hold a job that reports their income to the IRS. And if a calculated refund is there, it'll be withheld because of the debt that you owe. So yes, Twitter user from Detroit, they can do shit. It might take a little bit longer, but they can do shit. And I'm down with David. I'm down with David. I think, cap the interest rate, yes. But I think that the how do I say this? The value of college,
money.
The value of college has outpaced its the cost of college has outpaced its value. Mm-hmm. Meaning college now costs a shit ton of money. I split the cost with my ex-wife for my daughter's education. So every semester I am paying roughly $2,000. So each semester is costing about $4,000, which isn't horrible. It's not horrible. She's not staying in the dorms, so that takes a lot of money off. She's not having an entire meal plan. She has, I think it's like 12 or 14 or 20 something. It's a very low amount of meals per semester. She lives off campus. She has her own apartment. So a lot of those costs, if she lived on campus, this would be it would probably be twice what I'm paying. But it's working out. She's not almost done. I think she's about halfway done. She's considered a junior, but she has to go to school longer because she has conflicting. The classes that she needs to take to graduate are conflicting, so she would have to extend for like 3 semesters, two semesters past her graduation date just to get all the classes in because they conflict. No big deal. But what I don't like is that my daughter's tuition bill is just rounding up, so it's $2,000 for me, $2,000 for the wife. Together is $4,000. There's $1,000 in just fees. Riding the bus fees, driving on the parking lot fees, gym fees, health fees, whether or not she has health insurance through the college. There's $1,000 worth of fees every single semester. $1,000 per semester in just fees. So it's $3,000 for academics, and then $1,000 of just bullshit fees. Building replacement fee. It's dude, I should show you the list. There's like 3 lines for her tuition. It's like tuition and then application fee and then some other fee. And those are the expected fees, but then there's an additional $1,000 per semester for just bullshit fees.
That's insanity.
And that's why I think a lot of these, students are getting into debt up their ass because they finance all this stuff. They don't have They don't keep a job to pay down these fees every semester. They just finance everything. Put everything on the finance. Just it's like everyone put it on the Esprit card or whatever the.
Put it on the card. I'll pay it back.
I'll pay it back later. Yeah.
I know you were talking I know you got into your rant and everything, but you were talking about collections and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's also this very spicy thing that the IRS can do if you just ignore not to pay. Like after your credit's done screwed and all this, a creditor or a debt collector could just be like, "Well, screw it, we forgive the debt." Huh?
Oh God!
And that is the worst thing that'll ever happen to you because that debt now became income.
Exactly. So you got to pay 30% tax on that income tax.
Oh no! Well, I mean, just like this girl's got $105,000. So just imagine that's income. All of a sudden, 1 year you're just minding your own business. He's got $105,000 of income just poof out of nowhere. You might be flipping burgers somewhere trying to make it by, and now your car repoed. Everything in your life could disappear. You wind up getting a payment program with the IRS, which they could stick you in jail for. That's scary shit. No.
Yeah, because now you've got a tax debt. That is a tax debt.
Or you're forced to go was it Chapter 11 bankruptcy? You're forced to at that point to go bankrupt, and then your credit's screwed for another 7 years.
So I'm wondering if you file for a Chapter 11, does that relieve your tax debt, or does that
just me? No, that's saying that I can't physically afford to pay for anything, and at that point, you're not getting a loan. Good luck getting a cell phone. I mean, like places are going to look at you like, I want internet in my apartment. If you can rent an apartment after you file bankruptcy, bankruptcy is not a good thing to go through nowadays.
No.
You can file insolvency, like there's weird, I think it's Chapter 8 or some crap like that. Whereas I can't afford to pay my bills, but I'm still making money, blah, blah, blah. The law is so weird, but that's the last thing you want to do is to let any debt get forgiven. I had that happen to me. All of a sudden, I had $30,000 out of nowhere. I'm not making any money.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, $30,000. I get to pay taxes on this. Okay, well, call the IRS. Call the IRS. Spent 6 hours on the phone just to set up a payment plan to where it realized that every day I'm paying interest on it. If I would have been able to just pay it straight up, no biggie, whatever, I would have saved myself probably about like $10,000.
That's a lot of money. I mean, because you're looking at like 12%, 12%.
Oh, it's nuts. And interest is accrued daily at that point. It's not like this pops up once a month. No, it's like every day they're hitting you. That's like small business loans are like that. No?
So Holly, you're right. Holly, you're right. You can apply for a home loan 2 years after Chapter 7, but you're not going to get a favorable interest rate. So if the interest rates for a home are 7%, you're probably going to be paying 9, 10, 11% on that loan for that home.
Change that whole thing up with if you have good credit, you have to pay an extra amount of money to subsidize the people with bad credit to buy a home. I'm still looking into that because it's not if you read Fox News, it's the rich and the wealthy are going to be paying more. But that's not true. It's not true, and it's like pennies. I don't know. I saw that and I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. I never bothered to read into it, but from what I got a gist of it is, if you have good credit, you pay more for your initial mortgage, I guess. And
it's kind of like the words are escaping me. The Obama phone thing. On your cell phone, there's a line there for it's some kind of fee that you pay every month for your cell phone that is that goes for underprivileged people to have cell phones, and your cable bill has got the same thing, and your home telephone has the same thing if you have a landline. I don't think anybody has landlines anymore. I think
I did it up until about a year ago.
I think they said like 18% of American households have landlines.
See, it's a smart thing to have if you live in a hurricane area.
It's true. Yes. Because a hurricane comes through, cell phone towers are down. No service.
Those landlines will save your ass.
Unless you have Starlink. If you got Starlink.
Oh, yeah.
That's a game changer.
Power for that. No? The power could be out in your house, your phone's still working on a landline. Hell, there's a way to charge your cell phone on the old landlines that I used to know how to do, where you could
With
rig
24
up
volts? Well, yeah. You just down convert it to.
Yeah, there's a way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you got me thinking.
So I mean, you can charge your cell phone, charge anything with a USB charger at that point. If you rig it up the right way, boom, you're charging off the old RJ11 shit or a Cat 3. You know, the Cat 3, you could charge your shit over it. You know?
See, a friend of mine asked. He goes, "Hey man, I got these wires sticking out. Can I just tuck them into the wall, or do I need to cap them, or what?" And it was like for the old. It was like it was the red and green wire for old the rotary dial phones. Old school stuff.
Yeah.
So I said those are low voltage. If you can cap them, wrap some tape around them and then shove them through the wall, is fine. But now that you mention that, I'm thinking you can wire something up where you can just put like a little USB charger on there. You can charge your phone. You can charge.
I don't know if you're smart about it. You can step it up and have yourself a battery bank that takes like 20 hours to charge.
But it's always there. It's always there. You wouldn't have to. You could trickle charge your whatever.
Yeah, it's highly illegal. Don't do it.
Is it illegal?
Yeah, you're stealing power from the freaking telephone company. And come on.
But
in an emergency situation, I don't think they would give a crap. But I mean,
I think they've all forgotten about that. Because 18% of U.S. households have landlines. I haven't had a landline in years, dude.
We kept the landline in the house in Houston up until my mother moved out of there. She kept the landline there forever, and at this house, we just recently got rid of the landline because the only thing that we'd ever get over it was damn robocalls, and it was just getting annoying as hell. So it was just like, all right, well, just get rid of it. Huh?
I did have a landline in this house, but it was plugged into my AT&T UVerse router.
It's not a landline.
It's not a landline. But they're like, hey, if you have this phone, we're going to cut like $20 off a month. I'm like, okay. So I bought this cheap ass $11 phone that I never ever used. And every time it rang, it was nobody I knew. I didn't even know my phone number.
See, if they're going to save you so much money a month, you should have just been like, all right, sign me up for it and never hook the phone up.
I'm stupid like that.
Because I know my buddy did that with his cable. They offered him this like bundle deal, get the TV package, and he's like, "Well, I don't watch TV. We'll save $30 off your." Okay, then just hook it up. But I don't want I don't want any of the cable boxes because they'll charge you for the cable box.
Oh yeah,
that's how they get you on a rental fees. He's like, I don't want none of that. It's what you're paying for. I don't care. I'm saving $30 for having TV that I'm not going to use.
Or they'll send it to you, but you just send it right back.
Yeah.
So Holly said that they just changed the rule, and you can have a 640 credit score for that loan.
Which loan?
That's the Chapter 7. 2 years after a Chapter 7. 640. That's unobtainably low for me. I don't. That is very low. That's a low credit score for me.
3 years ago, 4 years ago, before I moved here to South Carolina, I was still living in Florida. My credit score's hovering at a 3.
No.
3 something.
No.
Yes, I had horrible credit.
Dude, I have no idea how that happens. You have no credit.
Well, I mean, I was dealing with issues, and I told you.
I got you.
I just explained that whole thing with the IRS and debt forgiveness.
Yeah.
I had to learn that somehow. So, no, I'm sitting solid 780 right now. I think just back to normal. Just took me years to get it back, but it's easy to keep a good credit score. I don't understand it.
It is. It's kind of interesting how the credit companies work. I mean, when I got divorced, I lost a lot of assets, and I had a low credit score, but I've built it up, and I'm awesome now. I'm really, really good now. And anytime it drops, I look at why did it drop? It drops because I used my credit card. I live off my credit card, and then at the end of the month, I pay the credit card off down to zero. So my credit score, if you look at a bar graph, it's like an EKG thing.
It skips.
It goes up, it goes way down, it goes way back up, it goes way back down, and way back up.
I don't spend my money, I spend the bank's money, and then at the end of the month I pay the bank back.
Exactly.
That's the way I always do it. Gotta keep that credit utilization, man. You gotta utilize the credit. If you don't utilize the credit, they'll take it away from you.
As soon as I got divorced, I got a credit card, and I put both of my kids as authorized users on them, but I kept their credit card. So they were getting credit for me having good credit.
That's actually a really smart idea if you're responsible and not.
Yeah, you don't want to screw your kids. I'm gonna look. I haven't looked for a while. Let me see this, that one, and what is that? Credit Karma.
Credit Karma. Oh,
free credit scores and there it is.
Credit Karma is the one that I do mine through.
And it's not accurate. Credit Karma is not accurate because whatever it tells you, you can probably subtract about 40 from whatever number that they give you. And that's like when you go to do a house, if you want to go buy a house.
Yeah. Oh, I got to re-sign it back up.
So I'm at 845.
Ooh.
845, and I've lost 4 points or 5 points, and I guarantee you it's because of my credit card. Because tomorrow I get to pay my credit card off, and then that's going to go up to something else.
I can't wait till I hit that 8. That magic 8.
I'm like almost maxed. I'm almost maxed, and I want to see if the confetti shoots out of my fucking computer or something when I max it out. I don't even know what the max is.
I think it's like $8.99. I think.
I'm really proud of it because I borrow money and I pay it back.
I would love this, that once I crash that 800 threshold, that would be the highest of my entire life.
We're gonna have a party.
Yes, and I'm gonna get me like one of those ultimate credit cards and bankrupt myself.
Get that. What is it? American Express Black Card. No limit. The no limit card.
The biggest mistake on the face of the planet to give me something like that. I'd be like, you know what? Screw it. I can go through another 7 years.
The presidential suite.
Let's party.
So let's talk about a little bit of eco-terrorism, because that's what this is. This is what I'm calling it. They're calling it like climate justice and bullshit, but I think it's called eco-terrorism. Let me see if I can find where I was. Oh, here it is. Europe's top climate activists are planning a large-scale civil disobedience campaign of highway blockages, hunger strikes, and disruption on federal properties in the United States in August. So look at Europe. Yeah. Europeans are planning on doing this. They're expanding. They're expanding.
Yeah, if you come over here and you barely speak English and you're blocking a road, I'm going to kick you in your balls.
If you're blocking the fucking road, I'm going to run your ass over.
Yeah, that. But no, if you, I'm going to kick you in the balls and then run you over.
So leaders from the Extinction Rebellion, or XR, and other European groups who are known for their large-scale disturbances are rapidly expanding their U.S.-based franchise called, quote, Declare Emergency, that's what they're called, to create mayhem on this side of the Atlantic. In a video conference, the Europeans taught their U.S. allies how to raise money, boost membership, and recruit scores of arrestable members to spearhead the most aggressive protests. In Europe, these groups have assembled tens of thousands of protesters and brought cities to their knees, causing $1 million in losses, and they hope to spread this chaos to the United States. Declare Emergency has raised over $1 million recently and has laid out plans to actively recruit 1,000 members in the coming weeks. They've made headlines in recent months, including with 2 members smearing paint on a case of Degas masterpieces in the National Gallery of Art in D.C. in April, and they've also blocked roads in the Capitol in Maryland and rallied outside Senator Chuck Schumer's house in New York City. Several members have been arrested and fined, and the art gallery protesters face jail time, but that's what these funds are being used for. A man called Thibaut Cantet, who is an eco-terrorist, speaking not from the United States, said that it was vital to launch European-style climate protests in the United States, the world's top economy and the biggest greenhouse gas polluter. Well, Tebow, can I call you Tebow? The United States indeed is the world's strongest economy, but it's currently losing ground to China. We have a GDP of $23 trillion, and China is right behind us at about $18 trillion per year. The next closest economy is Japan at $5 trillion. While China is right behind the United States in the economy, they are kicking the world's ass in the realm of pollution. Their pollution emissions are twice what the USA is. 10,668 million metric tons to United States 4,713. It's not even close. So if I understand these eco-terrorists correctly, blocking traffic, defacing priceless pieces of art, and interfering with the daily issues of politicians is supposed to convince Americans that we're supposed to pressure our representatives to go greener. I don't know. I don't see how this is related to that. You know, whatever they're doing is not really related to anything.
Musa said, send them to China.
Send them to China.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, if they pulled this shit in China,
you'll never see them again.
No, they would be in a camp somewhere. So see, we're nice over here in the United States. We let you, we got that free speech crap that everyone doesn't like anymore. But we'll let you do it. Fuck around, find out, get arrested for fucking with some paints and stuff like that. Or I dare you to go do an eco thing down there in Texas somewhere and block the road during Dallas. Block the road during prime time traffic in Dallas and see how long you last.
That would never happen. Dallas traffic is so insane. I avoid. I live in Fort Worth and I work in Arlington, and on the other side of Arlington is a town called Grand Prairie, and that's like the demilitarized zone between sanity and insanity. You go past Grand Prairie, you're entering Dallas, and it's insane. Traffic sucks so bad in Dallas. So bad. I mean, it's bad in Fort Worth, but dude, it's really, really bad. It's like 6 lanes wide of insanity. And it's trickle. It's just, you're not driving highway speeds. It's just no. It makes my butt itch thinking about driving into Dallas. No, thank you. So let's talk about, speaking of my butt itching, let's talk about Bud Light. So Bud Light is continuing to face backlash from consumers. They saw a 7-day period of declining U.S. sales in the last full week of May, which is Memorial Day. That's a very important day. An important sales week, I guess. For the week ending May 27, Nielsen IQ data that Bump Williams Consulting said that they posted a 23.9% decrease in sales. Anheuser-Busch's brand sales have fallen 24.5% in the past 4 weeks. So they've been dealing with backlash since early April when the company created custom cans for transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney. Some beer drinkers have said that they would boycott the brand altogether. I think the reduction in the rate of decline was the Bud Light rebate. They had their free fall was kind of stalled because of this rebate. There was a rebate offer where eligible customers would receive a $15 rebate if they bought a certain Anheuser-Busch product. I think for some that this was an economic decision. It's just like, it wasn't like, yes, we believe or we support Dylan Mulvaney or whatever. It's just like, fucking A, $3 for a case of beer? I'm down. $3.
Beer is only good for so long on the shelves. So they have to either A, give it away for a really reduced amount, or B, throw it out. No?
And I'm looking closer at this picture, and that's a 30-pack. That's a 30-pack of Bud Light.
Yeah. You said $3 for a 30-pack. That's
Yep.
yeah.
So I think it was an economic decision. I mean, I don't drink Bud Light because I don't like the taste of it. But I can see that, Memorial Day coming up and you want to save money. I completely understand grabbing a case of Bud Light for $3. I get it. I totally do. Right or wrong, I don't think Bud Light problems are over. I see that. I still see other brands moving off the shelf a lot quicker than Bud Light, and I look every week when I do grocery shopping. Bud Light's still fully stacked, but I can't find Yingling. I can't find the 15-pack, 16-ounce can bottle things of Miller Lite that I drink.
Mm-hmm.
Those are hard to come by, and all the other ones, fucking White Claw. White Claw sells more than Bud Light.
Twisted Tea.
Twisted Tea, yeah.
I go up to the gas station a lot just so because that's where I buy my beer, cigarettes and stuff, and I've noticed that case, like, they're really pushing. Anheuser-Busch is really trying to push their product, but it's not moving. It's been like just there, just stuck. Like, walked in it's a college town too. Like the day before graduation, everything was cleared out. The only thing that was in there was Bud Light.
Get the fuck it, really?
Yes, it was nuts. I wish I would have taken a picture of it because it was like a couple of them were taken. I think it's because there's nothing left. Let's grab some Bud Light.
This is the only thing left. This is what we have to do.
It's like Milwaukee's best was gone before Bud Light.
That is saying something, dude. I was out of the Army. I was unemployed, just recovering from a management job at a pizza place. So I was getting unemployment, and I was drinking. I would buy like Milwaukee's Best Light, and that's just a rot gut, nasty tasting stuff. Or the Miller bottle, the 32-ounce bottle of Miller. Ugh. But all of those are gone, but Bud Light's still sitting there. So Bud Light has officially, this is official now, they've been unseated as the number 1 beer brand in the United States. Modelo Especial reported $333 million $333 million in sales during the same time frame. Modelo Especial. I've never had a Modelo.
It's Modelo time. Dun, 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 dun. Come on,
no,
man.
but I've never drank it. I never drank it. It's always
all right,
it's either
all right.
Miller Lite. I either drink Miller Lite or Yingling or Shiner.
I like the Modelo Chilatas they got in like 24-ounce cans. The Clamatos.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they did those. Okay.
Chiladas, Clamatos, whatever you call it. Yeah, that's actually pretty good stuff. Especially a super spicy one. That's like the best. Like I got a hangover and I need a hair of a dog. That's perfect. Drink one of those and you'll be good the rest of the day.
Musa says, "What other brands are made by Anheuser-Busch?" Well, they got Bud Light, Michelob. But Budweiser is selling fine. Michelob is selling fine. It's just everybody is avoiding Bud Light. The problem is Bud Light is the number 1 was the number 1 selling beer brand for Anheuser-Busch and across the United States.
Like, I don't really see many people buying Budweiser. Now that you mention it, like that's all about. I don't really pay Budweiser. That's just like
They've had
Bud
hit
Light,
after hit. They tried that soccer thing, FIFA World Cup. They flew over plane loads of Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch products over, and then all of a sudden, when they were in country, they were not allowed to sell those things.
Dude, I remember that. Yeah, it was what was it, Qatar?
Qatar, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, nah, you can't drink.
They're like, no, we're not going to allow you to do this. You can do this in certain areas, but just not here. It's crazy, man.
Ham's beer.
Hams from the land of sky blue waters. You did say hams, right? I'm not like singing a hams.
No.
Okay.
Ham's beer. Was it David Cunningham? Put that in there. Dam's beer. It's like I ain't seen that shit forever. It's like Pabst Blue Ribbon.
PBR now is like it's like a craft beer hipster thing, isn't it?
Yeah, you go into like a hipster bar and they got a dollar can night or 50-cent can night, or I don't know how the hell they do it. But,
And it doesn't, I mean, just because it's cheap doesn't make it taste any better.
if you're trying to get fucked up.
So I think I'm going to save my orphan story for next time. But you're not going to be here.
right.
You're going to be on vacation for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
Pookie's going to be out of pocket for a little bit. He's not going to be around. In 2 weeks when we have a show, he's not going to be here. Hopefully we're going to get a there's no suitable replacement for you, but maybe we'll get something to stand in. But we do have shows 6 nights a week. On Sunday we have the Sports Bar. Monday is the Monday edition. Tuesday is Pop Culture Warrior. Wednesday is the Smoke Pit, and then we're back with Sergeant's Time on Thursday. And this is the spot here for Friday Night Freedom. There are no guests on the schedule. I'm not saying that there's not going to be a guest. I'm saying that there's none on the schedule for this coming week. Hopefully, Pop Culture Warrior. He did some giveaways and stuff. He was kind of flying, not solo. He had a guest, but they were giving away a bunch of stuff. I never, and this is the key. This is the key. If you want to win something on Pop Culture Warrior, all you have to say is, I never win shit on Pop Culture Warrior. And then he spins that wheel, and then your number pops up. So anyway, those are our shows for forever. These are the shows. Sports Bar on Sunday. There's lots in sports going on. I think the Texas Rangers are kicking that ass. They are unbelievably good this year. But my personal opinion is I'm going to wait until after the All-Star break, which is July timeframe, to determine whether the Texas Rangers are a badass team or not. Because the Yankees are playing like crap. The Rangers are kicking everyone's ass. But that all changes after the All-Star break. Maybe the Yankees are going to wake up and win all the rest of their games, and the Rangers are going to lose all the rest of their games. I don't know. It's really good to see the Rangers play well. So we're going to be out of here, man. I'm going to be back in 2 weeks. Pookie's not going to be here. We're going to have somebody else here, hopefully. And what are your parting thoughts for our lovely audience? Before
like I always say, don't drink and drive, don't beat your spouse, don't kick your dog, and taxation is theft, and have a great and wonderful
taxation
weekend.
is theft, and don't get caught speeding, because that's just more extortion.
Yeah. Don't do that either.
All right, everybody, take care. My name is KOZ, and that's Pookie, and we are out of here. Have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
My friend came to the door. She said, well, I was on the phone cooking me and my baby some breakfast. And she said, hey, something wrong. It's popping. I said, what? She said, yeah. I said, no. So the girl come downstairs. She come out her apartment with her baby with no shoes on. I said, oh, girl, it's cold outside. She said, something ain't right. I said, oh, man. She said, oh, man, the building is on fire. I said, no, what? I got my 3 kids and we bounced out. We ain't gonna be in no fire, not today.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio. This is WTF Nation Radio.